Hey everybody, and welcome back to another book review. So I just finished, read it in a day, Poisoned by Jennifer Donnelly. And this is the second book. It's not a series, but she's been kind of writing like changes to what we know of the various different fairy tale stories. And so this is actually the first one she wrote, if I did my math correctly. I read Stepsister a while back, and I really liked it. Just liked how it kind of got back to a lot of the grimness of the Grimm fairy tales. And then this one kind of takes some of that and adds to it. So again, kind of going back into that Grimm fairy tale style where it's much darker. It is much more kind of fearful, more about teaching kids, truths through very dark themes and violence. So Poisoned is about, it's the Snow White story. And in this one, her name is Sophie, or Sophia. It's actually like super long. It's like Charlotta something Sophia. And very strong in its German heritage, its German roots, has a lot of German words in it, which was very interesting. I don't know a ton of German, but I know enough that I recognized a lot of the words. So that was kind of cool. And then like one of the other pieces that I really liked was that the reason the stepmother is the way that she is not just because she's a vain person, and more that kind of went along with the idea of the reason the stepmother is vain or seen as vain is rumors that were spread about her by other nobles and kings, and including her own brother, saying that she's vain, and she's really not vain. She's just fighting against men, and men telling her like that you have to be a certain way. And so the stepmother turns into this very evil person to try and prove her worth as a ruler. So it's an interesting kind of twist. And I like that twist better than just, she's vain. I do think though that it was a cheap ending for the stepmother, for her she goes through, the things that we know, she gives her a poison apple. She also tries to kill her in a couple different ways. The stepmother tries to kill Sophia in a couple different ways, but in the end, she jumps off the tower. And I think in a lot of the other versions, her jumping off the tower is more of like, oh, it just kind of, she fell. And in this case, she like makes that choice, and they actually try to stop her. They're like, hey, it's not that we want to lock you up and put you in prison because, we feel like doing that. It's because, we want to make some changes. And she's like, I'm not just going to sit in a prison. So I thought it was kind of a cheap way out for her. But, I really like the book. I give it a 4.75 out of 5. And the reason is because some things were a little predictable. Some actions that were taken were a little predictable beyond just like, you already know the story. So there's that piece of it. But the other thing that actually the reason that I didn't choose a 5 for this one is that it's heavily implied that it's being told by the ghost of the huntsman, but then it kind of drops off at the end, and you never really get like, is it actually the ghost of the huntsman? Is it somebody else? So it's because of that, I was just like, I feel like I'm missing some piece, because the voice of the huntsman is there throughout the story, as just kind of this omnipresent voice narrator that's telling various chapters. But then it goes back to kind of, this just random narrator. So it wasn't very clear, and I wasn't a fan of that. But outside of that, really good book. I do like her style, the way that she does these stories. I haven't seen any others in her list. There, well, actually, I take it back. There is a Beauty and the Beast one that I'm curious about getting. There's actually 2 Beauty and the Beast ones that she has, but one of them is more related to Disney, like it actually says Disney on it. So, not sure I'm going to enjoy it as much as Stepsister or Poison. But I do hope that Jennifer Donnelly does write some more of these for some of the other fairy tales that are out there, just because I really like them. I like her style. I like the way that she's twisted the stories enough that it feels fresh and new, but also is still very much the story that you know and love. Oh, I know one other thing that I really, really enjoyed. So like we always think of Snow White and Seven Dwarves. And I liked in this is that the dwarves are not dwarves. They're just simply called men. And so they do talk about some of their statures are a little shorter, but like overall not. And also the princess, she talks like when she meets them, she was like, oh, I've heard stories about you guys, that you guys are all small and that you work in the mines and that you do all these things. And each one is like, yeah, that's true, but also not true. So I really liked that it wasn't just relying on the fact that they're these like little tiny men, that they're just brothers that live in the woods. And so that was really nice. I really liked that little difference there. So yeah, there you have it. Poisoned by Jennifer Donnelly. Really good read, really quick read. It is 300 pages. Honestly, I probably could have gotten it done in a day if I just sat and did it, but I took naps and did some other things as well. So it did take me a little over a day, but really good book, and highly, highly recommend. I will probably be putting it on my book club list. There you have it. So, as always, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you so choose. And it is a brand new year, excitement. And I will see you guys in my year-end book review, top 10 of the year in a little bit. But looking forward to getting a lot more reading done in this upcoming year. And yeah, I think that's it. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next book review. Bye.